Yo, what's up? What's good with it? Welcome back to Savs and Four. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the holiday season. Make sure you share this page, all this content with your family, friends, loved ones, all that. If you're watching on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of the podcast streaming platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you like this content you're giving, hit that thumbs up, comment, let us know how we're doing. Make sure you catch up on everything that we've been doing. It's your boy Esquire Dave. I got Dre from PG here with me. We're holding it down for the rest of the staff today. And today is a special episode, and we got a special guest here today. This is my brother from Bull City. If you don't know about Bull City, it's Durham, North Carolina, baby. If you don't know about Durham, North Carolina, you need to ask somebody.
Talk to him. Let him know.
You're gonna find out a lot about it today, man.
Yes, sir.
You see my boy repping the Durham Bulls cap right here, and this is my guy, man. He's a rising star in this sport, like basketball skills, sports training business. He's the CEO, founder of the Quintessential Sports Training LLC. He's a big time hoops head. He played basketball back in the day in high school. What we shout out to Riverside High School, home of the Pirates, man. This is where I first met my boy here. Right now he's based out of ATL. He in his sports training business, he's focusing on developing various amount of players and skill development, studying techniques, studying different aspects of the game of basketball, expanding people's knowledge in the game and preparing them for game time action. And let me just go ahead and introduce my guy here, Coach Quinten Foster. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate y'all for having me, bro.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Yes, sir, man. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on our show today because when I linked up with you out there in ATL, man, we got to talking a lot about what you're doing out there with how you were coaching high school players and how you work with some college basketball players and even working with some people on the NBA level. So, but before we get into all of that.
Yeah.
Just tell the people. Tell us how Quintessential Sports Training got started. Like you can go into your background a little bit, but just tell us how all of this just transpired.
Yeah, bro. I think the best way to answer that was, obviously, we've had this conversation, and people that know me know I love ball. I've always played ball. Growing up. And I got to a point when COVID happened, when everything was shut down and I couldn't go do what I love to do, which was go hoop. So when I was sitting at home like everybody else was sitting at home, and I was thinking, I was like, man, what can I do when I get back on the court to help this next group of players reach that level they're trying to reach? Because we've been sitting at home for so long. We need to make sure, I need to make sure that I'm doing my part and help develop this next group of players. So I started brainstorming ideas. I'm like, oh, I could go into coaching. I'm like, that's the traditional route that everybody chooses to do. Or I can go into training. And I was like, all right, that's a new field. I know the game. I know the technique. And then my mind was just churning. I was like, okay, how do I want to go about it? Do I want to reach out to youth level players? Do I want to reach out to, middle school, high school, or try to just jump off the fence and go straight to college? So I sat at home and devised a plan of where my start point was going to be. And I never put a end point. My whole goal was start somewhere and work your way from there and use the resources you have around you. And then when we come out of this pandemic, which we didn't know when, my whole goal was like, all right, hit the ground running. So as soon as we get these gyms back open, even if they're open for a limited time, when you have that gym space, you maximize it. If there's rules and regulations to the gym, you do what they tell you to do. You build these relationships now. So now when you have built that initial first relationship, you've done good with your first beginning training, then you can stack and build build and build and build, and then your name will start growing. So I mean, that was just the basis for me of how I wanted to go ahead and get started with the training. So I'm in year 3 right now, and which is crazy. I didn't think I would even get to where I'm at right now in year 3, but it just shows my plan of what I wanted to do was where I needed to be in life, and now I'm at a point where I'm starting to see growth. I'm starting to see my players develop. My players are now taking initial leaps and bounds from where they were when I first started. So that's a good basis beginning to help start answering that question.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. So talk a little bit about how some of those connections got developed, because right now you're working with, I believe, like you're working with like various high school teams.
Yeah.
I think like you're working on with some middle school teams as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So like when these gyms started opening back up,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk about like you're in year 3 now, and I don't know about you, but for me, like it feels like the last 3 years have gone by like this, like
Bro,
real,
crazy.
real quick. And I remember even you said one time that like you don't even like have time to even like digest like what is even going on right now, as
Bro.
far as like how many people you're meeting, how many people you've been training, and the results that's coming out of that. So
Well,
what went into like how you got to like working with certain high schools or middle
yeah.
schools, like how what went into that?
For me, it was. I mean, initially at the beginning, it was scary, bro, because like you got to think about it. You're new to a business in a field, and
Mhm.
you're trying to make an impact on kids, and kids are impressionable. But if you don't impress them the right way, then
Mhm.
you have not made a good foundation of relationship. So what I would do is at the very beginning, I have a friend who is in the school system. He's a PE teacher, and he would host these events outside of school where he would like do PE games and stuff like that. So I would ask someone that was like, "Hey, I know you have a gym at your school. What if I come in there and I do some basketball like skill trainings?" And I would come in and I would do the little skill trainings with the kids. And then the kids would go tell their older siblings. And then their older siblings would come to the workouts. And then I would obviously enhance the workout based off their skill ability. Then they continuously would come to the workouts. And then after that, they would see growth in their game. And then their parents would ask, "Hey, what do you do outside of this?" So then their parents would connect me with the coaches of the schools. And then I had a plan. And I'll just tell I don't tell everybody my plan, but I'll tell this what I no, this what I would do. And it still worked to this day. And a lot of people don't really, they're too big. They think they're too big to do this. By the time I got to that point where these coaches were emailing me and asking me questions and asking me to come into their practices, I would take the initiative and email the coach ahead of time before they would even know who I am. I would ask the kid what school they went to. I would email that coach and I would tell the coach, "Hey, my name is Coach Foster. I'm looking to come into your school at any time you can give me, and I would do a free clinic, like no charge. I want to come in here and help develop these players,
Mhm.
um, help them with their footwork. I can help them with the release on their shot. I can help them with um, recognizing defenses. I can teach them how to watch film. I can teach them what they should be looking for in film. Like I would just list out all these different things. And I think with me listing out all these different things that I wanted to do, and I would devise it in a plan of, all right, I would come in twice a week, or I can come in once a week, whatever the placement was. Me taking that initiative, they would realize that, oh, he really want to help them, and he's not even charging us. So I would just ease my way in, and
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
once I ease my way in, and then the coaches will see that I'm developing them. Next thing you know, now they're asking me to come back,
Yeah.
and then you can circle back and talk about how you want to get compensated. But initially, my first thing is always go in with the right intention. You want to go in and develop. You want to go in and make these players better. So you go in with your basis plan, go in there and maximize what you can during the time you're given, and show that you really love the game, and show that the kids are have grown during that session that you have, then it's just a steady race at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Because it sounds like you're building trust among, like, I mean, obviously with the players, but you're building trust with their coaches, or just like with the people that they're already working with, or the people that you would even have to work with, regardless. So that, yeah, and it's crazy because like you talked about how like how like your skill set, or like just your background could have led you into just coaching and being
Mhm.
on somebody's staff. Because what it sounds like, what you're describing here, one of those coaches could have been easily just said, "Hey, be my assistant coach," or be like,
Yeah,
like just come on my staff and join me, But
and
yeah,
that is a common occurrence.
yeah,
Common, I mean, common occurrence. And for me, I've always looked at it as, if the right situation was there, I would potentially look at doing that. But I also look at the rules and the logistics of everything, because if I'm asked to be put on a staff for one school, I can't help with other schools.
Right.
yeah,
Now, if you start
exactly.
working in another school, working with other kids, now they're looking at it like, oh, what are you going to do while you're with this other group? Are you going to be scouting them? Are you going to be know their player tendencies? So you're going to go back and go tell your home base? Like, I think about all that different stuff because
Hmm.
I've had well over 10 offers easily to
Yeah,
do high school coaching on the boys and girls varsity, JV, and freshman team level. Like, and I probably got emails in my email right now about that. But for me, it's just about build trust in the kids first, build
Hmm.
trust in the parents, build trust in the community. That's my circle. I start in the middle with the kids, I reach the parents, and then I hit the community. And then
Right.
I go to another area, same situation. Build trust in some kids, build trust in the parents, build trust in that community. And then your name spreads. And then after that, it's up to you now to be consistent with your work, and also be consistent with making sure that the kids are seeing your face over and over and over again. Because if you're not consistent, then everything else is just out the window. Because somebody else can come in right behind me and not train as good as me, but they can try, but they can get a shot. I mean,
yeah.
it ain't too many of me. I ain't gonna say, I'm the best, but um
Now
Now
talk
go
that
ahead.
shit,
No,
bro.
I'm
Talk
about to
that
talk
shit,
your shit.
bro.
No,
Talk
on
that
this
shit,
show,
bro. Now
on
we
this
talk
show,
that
you
shit on
talking
this
shit.
show.
No, on this show, you gotta talk your shit, man. Be
just
proud of
saying,
what you do, man.
I'm just
Yeah.
I, my players develop. I tell people, you better check the IG story, check the page. I'm telling you, I get my players where they want to be. If they tell me what the goal is, I'm setting you up for the goal.
Right.
For
And
sure. And yeah.
that's even like not even to like toot my horn or whatever. I mean, I tell that with my bigger name players, but I tell it with my beginner level players too. Like, if you tell me, if you're in sixth grade and your goal is to make if you're in fifth grade and your goal is to make the middle school team when you're in seventh grade, what do you think we about to do for the next 2 years? I'm about to set you up to be prepared for when you have your tryouts. I'm gonna take step by step uh process and teach you everything you need to know. I'm gonna teach you how to shoot. I'm gonna teach you how to rebound. I'm gonna teach you how to read the court. If you're playing a point guard, I'm gonna teach you how to set your set your teammates up. I'm gonna show you how to read defenses. Like, I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know. But I'm gonna do what I gotta do on my end, and I tell my players, you let me do what I need to do, I'm gonna get you where you need to be.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because you setting that foundational work,
Yeah.
and you talked about how this is leading to like people coming to you like, okay, like how do we pay you? How do you get compensated? So how did like so what resources led to you starting like the LLC, like actually getting it like solidified to make this an actual business?
I think for me that was what we kind of just said about, like, when parents would come up to me and ask me, how can I pay you?
Mhm.
And at first, it was initially okay, let's just backtrack that. So at the very beginning, I literally only had maybe less than 5. Definitely less than 5. I had this one kid I used to see every day for like a good year and a half, but I was not growing. But I was not gonna stop. I was like, all right, he gonna grow. He gonna find his groove, and then when everybody see his growth, I know my time will come where I'll get more people.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to get the business going, it was when more people started to come. Parents would ask me, "How do I pay you?" And then I got to a point where I was doing the basic. All right, you can pay me in cash, or you can pay me Venmo or Zelle or whatever the case may be. But when that tax time came around and they started taxing me, I was like, nah, you gotta
figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I really took off and began the business over the COVID situation and got my paperwork together, I was like, okay, now I got the LLC. What's going to be attached to the LLC? I need to have a business account. So I connected my LLC, went to the bank, got a business account. And then I was like, all right, well, if that's set up, what's the quickest way to people find my availability rather than text me or email me or whatever the case may be? Let's get a website together. So I called one of my friends. She helped me put the website together. So that way now I got an all hub spot. You can go on there, find out my availability. You can pay. You can find out when my next clinics are. You can find out, you can check the socials on there. There's links for everything. So it's a whole bunch of situations where I was like, man, in order for me to grow, I got to have my business together. And if my business isn't together, then I can still function as a trainer, but I want to function as a business. So if the business is not right, then the training can't be right. And I want them on the page. So it was get the LLC started so I can have ownership in my business. And then I could take that ownership over to the bank and get a bank situation where I had an account set up. And then now I have funds for my business from my training that go into my account. And now as I'm getting those funds, I'm realizing, all right, now I can use these funds to buy certain things. I can get merch. I can get, I can get certain things that I need or like equipment. Or if I know I'm going on a business trip, I can use my business expenses to pay on my business trip rather than my personal funds.
Yeah, Dré knows about that for sure. He got his travel business.
See what I like? See?
Yep.
See, so Dré, you know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, look, man, them tax write-offs is going to be looking lovely at tax season.
Man, listen. And now listen. So now I'm at a point where like I'm going to do different trainings in different states now.
Yeah.
So I'm going there. I'm going to Texas, out to Cali, going to New York, going down to Miami, right? I'm traveling different places to go do trainings. And I'm like, man, I don't want to use my personal funds. I got this business funds here. Use this, keep these receipts.
Yep.
Put this shit to the side. So when taxes come around,
yep.
Grab that box.
Set that thing. Go through them all.
Go
through them all.
I mean, I done got it down to a point, bro, where now like I could be leaving my crib to go to a gym that's probably 3 minutes from here. If I ain't got no gas, I'm about to get some gas. Keep that gas receipt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep that receipt.
I don't care if it's $10.
Mileage, all that.
Yeah, bro. I
all that.
Keep it all down. And I even thought about this too. I was in the process of I thought about getting a second car, and I'm like, well, if I get this second car, I might have to put that in my business name. So I thought about doing that too. But I was like, nah, that's a little bit too much, Q. Just chill out. But it was just like now I've opened my brain up to think more, to have more business like of a savvy, so that I'm not like using my personal debit card or using my personal credit card. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that kind of opened my brain up to help myself grow.
For sure. Yeah, man. So over the last 3 years, things have been, progressing well for you with Quintessential Sports Training. You talked about how the traveling that you're now doing
Mm-hmm.
to, new, like these different places.
Mm-hmm.
Um, talk to us a bit more about that and like the training that you're doing, because I know this ties a lot into maybe the summer league this past summer league in
Mm-hmm.
Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? How's that experience? Well, we can talk about that experience first before we get into the travel. So,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
far as what led you to getting to some time, with training some players in summer league. Talk to us a little bit about that, how that got birthed, and how
Mm-hmm.
it led to the travel that you're doing now.
So, how can I connect this? So, so my mentor, he hosts these basically seminars during the summer where a bunch of trainers from across the world, we all meet up in Vegas, and we talk about what can we do to develop our trainings as trainers. So it's like a big conference basically, and we're there for 3-4 days. So him and I were talking, my mentor and I, we were talking, and he was saying, like, while you're out here, you should make sure whatever connections you have, meet with them, because everybody is here during summer league. That was my first summer league this past summer. And I just thought it was like it may be a player or two, or an agent or two I may know, but my phone just it
Just
was
blowing
going.
up.
It was like, yo, you here? I'm like, yeah. Can you come to this? Can you come? I'm like, yo, so really, this is the spot during the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously everybody has seen summer league. You see it on TV. It's
Mm-hmm.
the only basketball we get during the summer, like, or
Mhm.
unless it's USA time. But I got out there, and a couple of the guys I work with, they were saying, like, what's your availability? I have a game during this day. Can I meet with you before the game? Can I meet with you after the game? After we leave, or they would say, like, we're gonna leave Vegas and we're gonna go up to LA and come back. Like, what? Like, I'm like, all right, so this is the spot that I need to be at. I
Mhm.
was supposed to be in Vegas for 2 days for that that training session. I was there 5 days,
Bet that.
a whole extra 3 days working, like college players, couple high school kids in the area. One of my friends that I met through the training program that I'm in, he was in town for the seminar, but his travel AAU team was there, and they were playing in all these different circuits in Vegas. And he was like, "You want to coach?" I'm like, "Shit, why? I mean, why not? More exposure." And this
Right.
this this was during EYBL time. So I'm like, yeah, it's a Nike, it's a Nike circuit, and you need me to coach, I'm gonna be there. And then one of the days I was there, this was during the CP3 Middle School Invitational. They got some teams out here doing workouts. I'm like, yeah. One of my friends called me. I was like, yeah, I'll get an Uber. I'll be there. So it was a bunch of networking opportunities while I was there.
For sure. Yeah. So, um, if you don't mind telling us, who are some of the maybe the players that like stuck out to you during your like 5 days in Vegas? Like, what some of the maybe the young talent, maybe some young NBA talent. Who are some of the guys that kind of stuck out to you, or some of the more like interesting experiences as far as your time in Vegas?
Yeah. Um, I'll answer that a couple ways, because some of the guys are gonna, like, kind of picky about, like, their name not being mentioned, but
Yeah.
I can tell y'all off record who they were. David, you know a couple of them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a couple of the high school guys that I really liked. I saw Cooper Flag. Y'all have got. I'm telling you, Cooper
Mhm.
Flag is going to be a problem. Like he going to Duke next year. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, we know
he,
that.
Yeah.
he,
we can smell
he,
that.
no, but like I don't even know how to describe it's that kid. His skill level is insane for his size. Like he can shoot the tray ball. He can get to the midi. He can take you to the rack. He's not afraid to bump. He can take the contact. Like he's got the full game. He's a combination. If we're putting Chet Holmgren with a little bit of Anthony Simons from Portland, with a little bit of let's just say shot making ability, like who's a good shot maker that I can compare Cooper to?
That's a big man.
That's a big man. I'm trying to think who's a.
Is he like Cat?
He's better shooter than Cat.
Okay.
He's got Cat now.
Okay.
God.
What? Okay, like
I'm trying to think in the league. Who's a good shooter that's at Cooper's size at 6'8", 6'9"? Who's a good one that's a good
a good stretch four.
He's a good
type of guy.
Let's just
like okay. Is he compared to like what Dirk Nowitzki used to be?
No, because he can put it on the floor.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Cooper he can do some dribbling.
Yeah,
I've been watching some of his games too.
Cooper can put that thing on the floor now. Cooper, and then he's shifty for his size. I'm telling you, he's about to be something like, all right, let's do this. Duke wise, he's gonna be like a Paulo, mixed with a little bit of guard ability like Tyus.
Okay.
He's got vision. And then throw a little Brandon Ingram in there.
Ooh.
I'm thinking those three is a good little comparison. But then he can get it off the board. He can rebound it with the best, obviously, because of his size. But he's gonna get it off the board, take it and go. He ain't gonna be looking to get it down. He ain't gonna do the traditional get it off the board, off the backboard, give it to the one,
kick it out. Yeah.
No, bro. He getting it off the. He Lamar Odom that thing. He gonna get it, take it, and go.
Yeah, Duke has to use him the right way, but that's neither here nor there.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah, that is true. That is they've got to use the boy right. But yeah, just answer that question. I saw some good ones. Trey Man from OKC, good one.
Yeah.
He just, how can I say this? It's another one. I'm like, I don't want to say too much, but he's one that when he gets that right opportunity, it's over.
For sure.
I saw a Cam Thomas workout. He certified. You see it.
We rock with Cam Thomas, bro. He's a certified bucket, bro.
I said he should have went higher in the draft. That was just me. I was like, I felt like he already had a pro skill set with his scoring ability when he came out LSU. So I was like, Brooklyn finally realized what they have now because you see him being more opportunities this season. Right. But I felt like since rookie year, he should have been. I know during that time they had like Kyrie, KD, and they brought in Hart. But even then, I was like, they need to find Cam to get some more time because that boy going to do something.
But Dre, you know what's crazy, bro? Is I saw that his junior and senior year in high school because the EYBL tournament is so big, you get to see so many players at young ages.
Right. So
his senior, I can't remember, it's either his senior or junior year, he was out here and he was going against Sharif Cooper. And they were going hit. I was at the game. They were going back to back to back to back. But it got to a point where they start to know what Sharif was doing.
Yeah.
But Cam is so unorthodox with the way he plays. It's like, yeah, you can stop my shooting, but I'm going to get to the cup too. But Sharif would try to get to the cup, but it was like because of his size, he didn't know how to finish. Cam is stronger.
Yeah.
So take the bump. He could finish that. But, yeah, the Cam Thomas, I'm finally happy he's starting to turn that corner.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of Vegas people, bro. It's
Yeah.
it's
No,
a
I mean, it's like it's the epicenter of like in the summer for you
Yeah.
see like all the like a lot of NBA All Stars be there, like
bro.
LeBron, like
I walked in.
everybody's there.
I walked in. No lie. I got off the plane. Went to. I was staying at the Palms. I walked into the hotel. I'm checking in. Right behind me is Mike Bibby.
Dang. Shout out Mike Bibby, man.
Mike Bibby, but I ain't know who he was. I ain't know Mike Bibby
Yeah,
was.
because my baby swole
Mike Bibby
now.
swole. He swole, bro. He
To work
swole.
out. He in
Yeah,
that,
Mike Bibby swole now, man.
but I heard the voice and I turned around. And I was like, and I chopped. We had a little
Yeah,
little conversation, 5-6 minutes. Chop it up.
yeah, man.
But yeah,
Shout out, yeah.
it was a good experience out there, bro. But I'll say this. I met some trainers of some of the big guys now too. Like
Okay.
I met Tim Martin. Tim Martin is Wimbiana's trainer.
Yeah.
Me and Tim had some great conversations. I met Dribble Too Much. That's AK. Well, that's Johnny. That's Johnny. So I know I met with Johnny, talked to him a little bit. Johnny works with Kobe White. He works with DeRozan. He's worked with CP3 in the past. Who else was there? It was a lot of great people there. Oh, Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, he works with a little bit of everybody. But he's great. He knows the game very well. I learned a lot from him. And for me, that was a lot of my Vegas experience. It was sitting with these trainers and me being an understudy under them. So yes, I know and I have my knowledge of the game, but for me to be around people of a higher knowledge level of the field, I think that was my biggest takeaway. Like I sat and I would just watch the workouts that they would do, and then there were some situations where I got invited to go with certain trainers to just go watch individual one-on-one workout. Like, so I got to really fine tune on what a player does with their skills, or what a player's mindset is when they come into a workout, or what do they do after the workout? What's their recovery process? Like, what do they do as far as film work? You know what I mean? Like, my Vegas trip was very heavy on that, but I did get like on-court experience, coaching experience. But yeah, it was a great time. Great time.
Awesome, man. Because and you talked about some things that led me to my next question. Because with this, the connections you're making with like these trainers, like I guess like other like skill coaches,
Yeah.
and just those that are in that nature of that field. What you're learning like a lot of like the ins and outs of like the do's and don'ts of kind of what to do and kind of things that you can take back to like grow your own self and your own business, right? So what's next like after this trip from Vegas? Like, so what has been next for you? What has happened for you like since then? How has it helped like grow?
Tell you what I did exactly after I left Vegas. After I left Vegas, I was backtracked. When I was at Vegas, I'm very big on taking notes, whether it's on my phone, piece of paper, computer, I don't care. Whatever I do to jot some notes down, I'm gonna get it down. And then whenever I'm done with a training or observation, whatever it may be, I take my notes, I go back, I look over it, and then I look at it as how can I apply what I just learned to this skill set of player that I'm about to work with. So when I left Vegas, I knew when I left Vegas and I was coming back to Atlanta, I had 3 college kids that I was getting ready to work out. So the stuff that I saw with college players from UNLV that were doing a workout while I was there, I was like, what can I take from this? Or what can I take from the 3 NBA guys that I have that I'm with today? And I would take those 2 things, merge them together, and just say, all right, I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take this, and I take this bit and this piece, and I'm going to put them together. All right, and then I would sit with them and then apply the techniques that I learned. And then I will put it in game situation, whether it's a 5-on-5, whatever, 3-on, and just see how did they apply what I just taught them in a game setting, and then record it, watch it on my end, how can I be a better teacher? How can I help them be a better player on the court? So it was a lot of study on my end, apply, and then reteach again. So that was my method, and I just did it consecutively over and over again. And then I would do it with those college kids, those 3 college kids I was with, and then I would do it with during the summer. My schedule was a little all over the place. I may go from college kids to some overseas players that are in Atlanta for the summer. I may go work out with them, and then I may go work with some middle school kids. So I may bounce all over the place. So I took what I got over that Vegas trip and just took that information, like I said, chopped it up, and then applied it to the different type of players that I had.
For sure, man. So, kind of going back to just kind of the young talent and the some of the young players that you're working with, and going back to really like the Atlanta area.
Yeah,
And what
we
and
got
kind of what you're saying around just Georgia, maybe period. Because
yeah,
I know you keep your eye on a lot of things happening
yeah.
in the area. I asked you about my boy Stephon Castle out at UConn right now. I
Yep.
don't know if you ever like went to his games or not when he was out there. And I'm not sure how far Covington is from Atlanta.
I
Yeah,
know that that's a little bit outside of the city limits, but I know where that school is, and I know the coaches,
yeah.
so I know how they use like a feeder program to develop their players. So I know what type of player development he was given while he was in high school. So I'm aware of who he is. The boy got some talent.
Yeah, nah, man. I'm really fascinated by him, man. I mean, he's like a 6'6", like two guard. Like he can play the 3 or the 4. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna when he gets in the NBA, he's gonna be a really good 3-and-D type of guy. He's not a good shooter right now, like in my opinion. But I mean, he's
He
like an
reminds
18, 19-year-old kid. I mean,
Speaking of UConn, you know who he reminds me of?
who?
Was it Andre Jackson who they had last year?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
exactly.
when
Yeah,
I
freaky
watch
athletic, man.
when I watch him, I'm like, that's Andre Jackson all over again.
Yeah,
That's
but
that's all he is.
I think Stephon Castle is a little bit more polished than what Andre Jackson Jr. was when he was a freshman.
But
The-
also,
yeah,
Stephon also had a lot of good player development. So
yeah,
him walking into UConn, it's like, oh, I don't need as much development as probably others because I was given this at a younger age, and then I just grew my game. So I'm not saying Andre Jackson didn't. He's a phenomenal player.
mhm.
Great. I know his trainer. It's my boy Dom up in New York. So
Oh, word.
I,
Okay.
I I know what Andre's getting, but your boy, he's got it. I'm telling you,
So,
he got it. But
so,
but
so, yo, go
to
ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish what you want. Go ahead. Say what you want to
No,
say.
I was just going to ask you about just maybe if, like what you can speak on as far as like some of the young talent in the ATL or just in Georgia period from what
Um,
you've seen like in high school, like who we should be on the lookout for.
okay. Just for preference, I'll tell you this. So people sleep on Georgia when it comes to high school basketball. Like, I don't know why, but when I first moved here almost 10 years ago, Jaylen Brown was the number one player here. Then we went from Jaylen Brown, and I don't know why people sleep. Well, they're coming through the pipeline. It was Jaylen Brown, and then Colin Sexton came right after him,
Mhm.
and then Isaac Okor, and then Sharif Cooper, and I'm like, we just constantly just keep pumping them out, pumping out.
I just think because everybody just see Georgia, they just think of football when they think of
That
Georgia, like that, like SEC, Georgia Bulldogs, like you got Georgia Tech and everything. But like I don't know what areas here, but ain't like Ant-Man from the state of Georgia too. So
oh,
like
Yep.
I'm tripping. Yeah, Ant-Man.
yeah, so like you said, it's been like a steady like level of talent coming out of that state of Georgia lately. So yeah, it's something that we actually got like as a hoop fan just got to talk about as you know Georgia's they not coming. Like they here now. Like they got NBA out. They piping up NBA All-Star levels, like NBA All NBA team type of caliber players now.
I'm telling you, Ant-Man, forgive me, please, God forgive me, Ant-Man. Ant-Man, that's a great dude. Been in the gym with him before too. Great guy.
He's funny as hell, ain't he?
I know he seemed like
what? He one of them people like he gonna meet you for the first time, chop it up with you, and then after that it's gonna be like popping shit now. Now we talking shit.
Yeah. He gonna hit you. Oh, he gonna hit you what? You strong like bone type of shit.
Like that Kermit character.
But no, I got some names for you. Ace Bailey.
Okay.
Heard of him. Nice.
Listen, Ace Bailey, I don't want to say his height wrong, but man, he probably about 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", maybe 6'9". For sure 6'7". But I'm telling you, he's going to Rutgers next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The boy is a dog. The boy is a dog. He's a high school version of Julius Randle.
Ooh.
Shoot the tray ball, can get to the rim, and then he dunking like, y'all remember Stromae Swift?
Yeah.
How Stromae was just like so aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he do. He get to that cup, it's over. It's over.
Okay. Dave, I don't know if you saw this clip, but it was a time where Ace Bailey was in the gym and they had the #1 point guard in the nation, who's also going to Rutgers, Harper Jr. And Harper Jr. was pretty much caught on tape. He was like, "Damn, Ace, you're gonna make me commit to Rutgers." That's how good Ace was out there balling.
Yeah.
That's how good Ace was balling out there. Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, Ace, and that what you said, Dré, is I can confirm that is true. that was part of the reason why he's going there, because Ace is there. But Ace is a good one. I got a great kid, that J.R. Leonard. He's a junior right now. He is, certified bucket, y'all. He's got it down to a science. Like he knows how to get to his spots. He knows how to be efficient and effective on his team. He's not out there taking 20, 30 shots.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to take his 3-4 shots a quarter. And if his shot's not going, I watch the kid. If the shot's not going, he's smart enough to know, all right, I'm gonna go to the cup.
I love that in a player.
And if I get fouled going to the cup, it's gonna be one or two things. I'm gonna make it, or I'm gonna go to the free throw line, or the third option, I make it and go to the free throw line for an one.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's smart enough to know, all right, now I got that going. I'm gonna work my ass back now. Now I'm gonna start taking these middies. Now I'm gonna knock down these middies. Now I'm gonna do a reverse pivot on the wing. And that's his go-to move. He gets you on that wing with a reverse pivot. He can see the whole court. Baseline, going to the rim, take off. Mm-hmm. Now I got that going. Now I'm gonna take your ass back even more and hit these 3 balls on you.
That's the progression. That's the progression right there. Yeah.
That's my boy. I love JR. That's my boy. He's gonna be one. Y'all, I'm telling you, y'all gonna know him in the future. He's a junior right now, and he really just started to blossom over the summer. So now the game is coming a lot easier to him. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna be a good one. He's gonna be a good one. His teammate is this kid named Karis Bilal. Karis is going to Vanderbilt next year. So he's gonna play. People don't know this, but Vanderbilt has Jerry Stackhouse as the coach.
Yeah.
So he's got a good coach. He's a good kid from what I hear. I don't know the kid, but I hear he's a good kid. And I've watched him play several times. Athletic as hell. He is athletic. He's one of them. He's one of those. I'm not saying he's like Westbrook, but you remember that third year Westbrook, where he started to realize that I can just take off and beat everybody. because I got
Yeah.
That's when OKC started making the playoffs. Yeah, I remember that.
That's how Karras plays. He just takes off. He can get to the rim. I mean, they have a set play where they run a backdoor lob for a point guard. Like, that's how athletic he is. Like, and he's 6'2".
Oh.
And it's not even a simple backdoor. He's like cocking it out.
Dang. That's 6'2"?
Oh, I'm gonna see. Watch. When I go to the next game and I record it, telling you, he's getting up there.
Damn.
But he also knows that with my quickness, I can beat you to my spot. So you got him and JR, like, pick the poison. Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna try to stop the one in JR who can score at will, or you gonna deal with this man who's got this unlimited speed, and he's gonna get your ass to the rim and finish, or he's gonna get you to that elbow and knock that elbow down.
So, man, that's reminding me of, like, didn't Penny used to be able to do that shit, like, back in Memphis? I remember, and how tall is Derrick Rose? Is he
6'2", like 6'2", 6'3", something like that.
That's what, like, it's reminding me of.
Yeah, but he's one of them. Those two kids are going to be good. Trying to think who else. Oh, Jacob Wilkins.
Okay.
Which is Dominique Wilkins' son.
Yeah, Dominique Wilkins.
Nice. Yeah.
I remember now. Okay.
He nice.
He goes to Grayson. He's a good kid. He can hoop. Grayson is one of those pipeline schools where they start kids in their feeder program at like 4th, 5th grade, and then those kids just develop, and then by the time they get to their high school years, a lot of those kids they're going D1 or a low level D1 or a D2. Those kids go to college for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are some good pipeline schools out here for that too. Grayson, McEachern, Pebblebrook, what else? Wheeler High School. Like, there's great programs out here for these kids to grow in their high school program. So yeah, there's a couple good ones I can just think off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, man. This sounds like more of a breeding ground than I thought, man. Because the stigma on, like, Georgia, like we were saying earlier, Florida, Georgia, like the South is like just football, man. Like, but you, like, kind of breaking down, like, more like some of these schools.
It's football. It's football too. Buford High School out here is crazy. Buford they are a freaking college team. Like,
yeah, I saw ESPN had them on TV. It's like,
I mean,
are you sure?
It's 10,000 people at a freaking high school game.
Nuts.
10,000.
Nuts.
Crazy.
That's half the attendance of an NFL game, man.
Bro, and they doing it. They doing that shit on Friday nights.
They talking about city shut down.
They got people from everywhere. But yeah, it's a football state for sure. But this high school basketball and the circuit programs, it's increasing. I've seen the growth since I've been here. So
for sure, man. Yeah, man, it's good to hear about all that, and I also kind of want to transition now back into the pro game. And starting with the ladies first with the WNBA. Just want to get your thoughts on some of the things that happened this past season and now going into the following season. The Las Vegas Aces went back to back. They're looking like a potential dynasty. New York Liberty went to the finals for the first time in I think 25 years, I believe. There's a lot of like star-studded players in the WNBA. Alyssa Thomas out in Connecticut's son, she's like a triple-double machine. A lot of young talent. I think Atlanta was the 5th seed this year. They got a lot of young talent there. Nafisa Collier, I think she can be an MVP candidate one day out of Minnesota. Washington is steady in the playoffs. They're just 4 years removed from winning their last championship. So I want to kind of and the young talent. Yeah, shout out to I had to plug it. Dré, I got you, bro. I got you,
I
bro.
appreciate you, man.
I got you, man. Shout out to the Mystics, bro. They hold it down. And shout out Natasha Cloud. Yeah, she's like one of my favorite players in the league as well. But with this new class coming in, so you got Caitlin Clark that next for the draft next year.
Yeah.
Paige Becker's out of UConn. I think Angel Reese. I think it's supposed to be coming out.
Potentially coming out. Yeah, her too.
I think old girl from Stanford, Cameron Brink. I think.
Cameron Brink.
Yeah. And it's going to be a stat class, right? So, what are your thoughts on kind of what's happened this past season and kind of moving forward? What are your thoughts on some teams whether you think the Aces are going to do that three-peat or what are you thinking so far?
Well, I mean, I hope they do a three-peat. That would be good for their sport. As far as, I mean, it's good for basketball in general, but I think it would be good for the WNBA because I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think there's ever been a three-peat.
Well, since the comments, Houston comments.
Houston won 4 in a row.
Houston won 4? Oh, see,
yeah.
4 in a row. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, but I think that would be good though because that would be good for Las Vegas, number one, because they don't have a sports outside of the Raiders. I mean, but basketball wise, other than UNLV, I mean that's the only other basketball.
They about to get a baseball team in there.
Oh, they are. See,
yeah,
I didn't know.
The Aces
and the hockey team. And the hockey team.
The hockey team.
Low-key, Vegas is starting to become a sports town because you got the hockey team that just won a championship. Aces back-to-back. Raiders, they trying hard, but we ain't gonna have to mention the Raiders right now. But it's really, we're hearing the rumblings that eventually they're going to get an NBA team in Las Vegas. They got the G League Ignite team out there to kind of see what the fans are feeling, and when they have eventually a better pro team out there. So yeah, Vegas coming up, man. But like you're saying.
Telling you that G League team, one of the players I know on there from last year, they love Vegas and they love the fan support that they get out here.
Yeah.
From what that player told me. So I think it only makes sense, number one, for Vegas to get that NBA team. But I'll circle back to your original question. But I would love to see the Aces get a third one. That'd be dope for the city. I love their coach, which is Becky Hammond, I believe.
Yeah, Becky Hammond.
Yep.
Becky Hammond is one of the. I don't even like putting gender on this. It's not even about her being one of the best women coach. She's a great coach.
Yeah,
a great coach. I met one of the assistants on the Spurs a while ago, and they told me that she was a great coach. So I mean, I trust this person that told me that. So. And then for her to be with how long was she with the Spurs? It had to been every bit of 8, probably 9, 10 years.
I think 10 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't stay with one team for that long if you don't know what you're doing, especially not under Pop.
Right.
You got to know the game. So I think with her knowing the game and then them drafting well and getting the right players in place, I think that is a recipe for success.
Mm-hmm.
So the recipe is working, and what they cook working, keep it going. Then obviously they can build through the draft, through free agency, and then just kind of integrate some new pieces into their team, and then hopefully they take off again. I don't want them to kill the dream, but that
the Atlanta Dream, they coming up, man. They got some young talent though.
They got pieces.
Yeah.
God, what's her name? Cheyenne Parker. I think yeah. And they got old girl that used to play at Arizona. Man, she busted UConn ass in the Final Four one year. Ari McDonald. I think she's on the team. Yeah. They got some talent. They got some young talent for sure.
And I was. Funny enough, I was actually looking at a mock draft a while ago, and I was like, man, I wonder who they're going to get. Like, who would be a good piece for them? And the first person that came to my mind before I even looked on the computer, it was Angel Reese. I was like, that's perfect.
That's big girl. Yeah.
That's exactly what they need. They need that gritty, that gritty stretch four, who can shoot, who can take it to the rim, like who gonna bring some energy to the
Yeah, because
rim.
she gonna talk her shit. She gonna talk her shit.
And that fits the Atlanta mold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know she gonna turn that city
like,
up. Yeah.
she one of the ones, she gonna pop her shit, but she can back it up though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can back it up. And I was just looking at the mock draft. I put it up and her name came up there. I was like, that's it. If they get her, that'll be another piece to the puzzle. And then, they can just grow and develop and build from there. But I think I just like where the WNBA is as a whole right now, because
Me
now
too.
more people are starting to come and be involved and come to the games, watch the games, be a fan of the game. Like, and I think that's what the players probably want. I can't speak for the players, but I think that's what the players want the most. Like, they want that same respect and admiration that the NBA players are getting, right?
Mhm.
I mean, obviously the compensation is a whole nother piece, but if they can just get fan support, I think that would be leaps and bounds for these WNBA teams. Like that, it would just help. It would just help the morale of the actual player themselves, just from the outside looking in. But
Yeah.
I like where the WNBA is as a whole, and it's no. I think another stigma was, and I just think in general, a lot of people that I know thought it was just like, oh, there's only like 2 or 3 good WNBA players. I'm like, no, it's not.
Nah, man.
Nah.
There's like a good 2 or 3 on every team, bro. Like,
Bro, like the game has changed. The game has evolved. Like, these girls are really good. Like, y'all need to pay attention. Like, y'all still Lisa Leslie's in the NBA, WNBA. I'm
nah,
like,
man. Nah, bro.
I'm
Nah,
like,
bro.
I need y'all to get with,
Nah, cuz.
like,
Mm-mm.
nah. I'm like, do
Nah,
y'all
man.
not know what's going on right now? Like, y'all need to go watch these WNBA players, bro. One of them got her own sneaker with
Yeah.
Nike.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you just don't walk up to the campus up in Oregon and be like, oh, I'm trying to get it. No, you got to be one of them ones.
Yep.
Nah, I mean, like, even like Candace Parker is like a living legend, like a true like basketball legend.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, because like Quinn, you were talking about CP3, and when we're on the pod, Dre hates calling Chris Paul CP3.
The real CP3 to me is Candace Parker. That's my CP3. That's my CP3.
That's crazy. I've never heard somebody say CP3 is Candace Parker. That's wild.
Because she wears number 3, yo. She wears number 3 her whole career.
I know, but that's wow. That again, we're talking about open our brain to different things. I like that, Dre. That's different, bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
man. Because even like since Lisa Leslie, man, you've had like Maya Moore. One of my favorites was like Cappie Dexter out of Chicago. She
Bro,
she was based out of Chicago, but she went to Rutgers, right? She
bro,
was like one of my favorite point guards.
a bucket. She was a
Yeah,
bucket.
big bucket.
One of my favorite basketball players ever is Ivory Latta. And people,
oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know them
I'm like,
days. Between Ivory Latta and Alana Beard.
Yeah.
You
I'm
see
like,
it, dude?
bro,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, especially when I go train girls, we'll talk about that too, but girls don't really watch the sport like they.
That's Dave.
Hey, we ain't got enough time for that today.
Let's touch on. I do want to.
We'll link up. We
Yeah.
can talk about that another time. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but Ivory Latta as a point guard was just amazing, bro. Like, I remember go to we from Durham.
Yeah.
I go right to the to the Dean Dome and go
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah,
I'm like,
bro.
really a good point guard. She knows the game. Like, you can learn from every gender of player. It doesn't have to be I can just go watch the guys and learn. I'm like, bro, no, like you are a good
Yeah.
point guard, you're gonna be a good point guard at
Yeah.
any level.
Exactly.
But I like the way women's basketball is going. I don't want to go there in that rabbit hole. We'll be here.
Yeah.
For a
Yeah.
while,
For
but
sure, man. So before we go into the NBA, I want to ask you this last question. So Indiana Fever, they got the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft.
yeah,
I think Caitlin Clark is like, I guess,
it's got
like, you know, the
it's got.
the clear number 1, I guess. But is she the right fit for Indiana based
I
on
think
what they got in Aaliyah Boston, Erica Wheeler? I think they still got Destiny Henderson. If I'm from South Carolina, I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
I
Is Caitlin the right fit for Indiana?
I think the way that team is constructed with a bunch of young players, I think it's a situation where you have to try it. I mean, you got to try it, obviously, because she's the consensus. Like there's you can't go wrong with her. Like no matter what team you really are, because you know what she can do, right? And you know what she brings to the game. So now it's about coaching and developing that team and putting everybody in the right spots. So if you know what her skill set is, and you know what these other girls' skill sets are, now we just take these different skill sets and devise a game plan and try it out, see how it goes. I don't think she's one of those players where you just want to just like pass up on her because then they can turn around and bite you. You know what I mean? Like I think this is a situation where you have to take her. I don't see why you wouldn't take her.
I feel you on that, man. Because I like I'm just thinking that the guards that they have right now,
Yeah,
I mean they can serve as like true point guards, but I think like Erica Wheeler's like serves as like a better as a 2 guard, and they need
yeah,
like someone that can like really like run the show there,
yeah.
and they can like have that real in and out game between like Aaliyah Boston and the guard play. So I mean, if
Yeah.
that's Caitlin Clark, it's just hard. I understand because it's just hard. Like Caitlin can shoot her ass off. It's hard to pass up on that.
But bro,
It's
think
hard.
about think about it this way too. Like the way the game has evolved, it's becoming positionless too.
Yes, it is. Sure is.
It's
Yeah.
position. So I mean, you can go the out. The traditional. Oh, my point guard brings it up. My 2 guard is on the wing. My 3 is on the other wing. My 4 and 5 are on the blocks. I'm like, mm-mm.
Nah,
Now, shit, space it out. They got most offensive sets in the NBA. I want y'all to just watch this next time you watch an NBA game. Most offensive sets start out in a 4 out, 4 people on the outside perimeter, and 1 person inside the painted area. That's the way the game is going right now. You have 4 outside players, you have 1 inside player, and then they rotate that thing around. Eventually, one of those people on the outside are going to come in, right? But they always start with the 4 guard. Or I call it a 4 guard set. You got 4 guards on the outside, and you got 1 inside person, and then they just rotate it around. And you know where this is started from? The Golden State Warriors. That's where they put 4 guards out there, and they put one in the inside. That's just what it. Think about them: Steph, Clay, Wiggins,
mm-hmm. Draymond,
right? Draymond,
and
and
then
then
Lumi or whoever.
or they'll go small, and then they'll put CP there
Yeah.
and make Draymond the 5, or they'll put Gary Payton Jr. out there and then make Draymond the 5. Like most games now are 4 guard out system and 1 big. Like that, they're not going back to. I mean, when Looney's in there, then Draymond he can go. They put him in a guard situation, but I mean, not really a guard.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I just think the way the game to is going, and then for them to obviously get their fan base to increase, I think you take the bigger name, right? You take the bigger name, and then you see how that name and that skill set of a player fits the mold of that team, and hopefully, they grow from there.
Yeah, and Indiana's not that far from Iowa either, so
So again, her fan base can travel.
yeah,
Yep.
for sure, man. Yeah, let's transition to the NBA. So we just had the in-season tournament. The Lakers beat the Pacers in the championship game for that. The Lakers are now currently sitting at I think 14-10, 7th seed in the West. But how the standings are looking right now, like in the East, you got Boston at number 1, Orlando surprisingly at number 2. You got Milwaukee and Philly at the top, and then Indiana's at number 5. And then, other than that, it's kind of wide open from there as far as the East. But then in the West, it's a real battle, because right now we got number 1 is at this moment is Minnesota, OKC. I know Quinn, you're high on OKC, and then Dallas is number 3. Sacramento's in the mix at number 5. Denver at number 4. The Lakers are at number 6. The Clippers are at number 7. Phoenix at 8. I mean, but Phoenix. Beal, once they get Beal, KD, Booker all on the same page throughout the season, that's going to change. New Orleans, it all kind of leverages on Zion. Houston is in the 10th spot. Houston, a young team, good coach. So so now that we've gotten the in-season tournament out the way, what are your thoughts on the rest of the NBA season? Like, kind of give me your MVP prediction and how you feel like the standings will look at the end of the year.
Okay, so I'll do the predictions last, but just to kind of touch on the standings, I think now is where you're going to see who is going to be able to sustain their spot, and then who is going to be able to test their team ability, right? So those teams that are probably at the higher ranking, do you think they're going to be able to maintain it based off the vets that they have on their team to keep the team together? Do you think they're going to be efficient and effective for the next 40 plus games? Like, do you think it's going to be a situation where injuries can take place? Can they stay healthy? Can the coaching stay together where they can sustain a long season, right? So I think a lot of factors play into it. Obviously, health to me is the biggest one. Like, can they stay? Especially, I mean, in today's NBA, NBA players don't play 82 games. That's just, it ain't happening. Nah, it's either going to be injuries or load management or something along those lines. Like, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But I mean, the way the current rankings look, I think the West is always a tough battle every year. The East had their period of time where it was a little weak, but I think now those higher up teams that are in that top four, top 5, you know who they are. They're gonna sustain their records, and then they're gonna stay into the playoff rankings. But then it's gonna be for the East. What are you gonna do to separate yourself from what you did last year? And what I say by that, think of the teams from last year: the Phillies, the Boston, like those type of teams. Like, what are you, like the Miami's? Like, what are you going to do to separate yourself from last year? Like, you can't obviously do what you did last year because that didn't work. You know what I mean? What has changed? So that's what I like to look for. Like, what did y'all work on during the summer to get you ready for this point when the playoffs come around? Or what did you do during the summer that's going to help you sustain the longevity of your season?
And that's a good take, because we have some people on our show, especially T, they just feel like, we call it analytics basketball, because that's how we feel like Boston played. They play either cut to the basket or they're going to shoot a bunch of threes. Yeah. And we saw how, like, the past 2 years, y'all pretty much tricked off the finals against the Warriors, and then y'all almost came back against Miami and did the unthinkable and come back from an 0-3 deficit, but eventually it just caught up to them, because I know Tatum got hurt in Game 7, but eventually it just caught up to them. But I'm kind of, even though they made moves, they got KP Porzingis, they traded Marcus Smart away, and they got Drew Holiday. So I kind of feel like they still playing the same type of ball, And it was kind of eye opening to me in the season tournament. KP on the bench. We know he has an injury history. And then when it came down to it, even though it was a failure Pacers team, y'all style of play let the Pacers allow the Pacers to creep back in and eventually won that game.
Yeah.
So when you talk about separation from last year, I don't see that separation from them.
Yeah.
So do you think like their style of play, do they need to fix it before they get to like the All-Star break? Or is this something they're just going to have to live and die by and see what the results going to be at the end of the year?
I think, and you made some great valid points. I think it is time for an adjustment in style of play, but I think they've made little steps in their growth with that.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's about capitalizing off those little steps and then maximizing them. Like you just can't go a stretch period of being very, very good offensively and defensively, and then switch up and then only be good offensively, and then you lack defense. Like they have their spurts, but now it's about goes back to who's in charge of the rotations, right?
Right.
Now, are you putting the right players on the court? Like, for example, like we know for sure what Drew Holiday is going to do. That man is a two-way player. He can be an efficient point guard and he can lock down on defense, right? But if he's not seeing the court during crunch time, then you know what I mean? Like that's not a Drew Holiday something you question of him. It's more of like who's in charge of the rotations. Like Porzingis, we know what Porzingis can do offensively. I've seen some games where he lock in defensively, but is it going to be if we in Game 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals? Is he about to Ben Wallace it? Is he about to lock down, or is he going to shoot y'all out of a game? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to get out of a player is based off how they have played during the season. If they haven't showed consistency, then what do you think you're gonna see when playoffs come around? You know what I mean? Like, but it just goes back to I think who's in charge of the rotations. And I don't like singling out coaches, but I mean as a team, like you've got to make that decision. Like, is one person gonna make these decisions? Are the players gonna be held accountable for it? You know what I mean? Like some stuff you've got to make internal changes, and you got to be receptive of external changes too.
I feel it.
For sure, man. For sure. So as far as your prediction, or like first off your MVP prediction, who you think's gonna end up taking the trophy at the end of the season?
Ant-Man.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I like Ant-Man. It's okay. It's gonna be the obvious people in the runnings. We know it's gonna be Luka. We know it's gonna be Giannis. It's gonna be Jokic. But I feel like Ant-Man right there. Like Ant-Man's right there. He ain't hit his stride yet. Like I saw the growth with USA during the summer. Saw the growth with some workouts and stuff that I saw out here at OTE. So I've seen the growth, but I just feel like he's right there. Like if he can just get on a stretch of a good 10, 15 games where he just hitting clutch shots, hitting game winners, hitting 30-point games, and then his team is winning. Everybody might as well just let that man get to where he need to be.
For sure, man.
But that's just me. Now, what do I think everybody else is gonna do? It's gonna be the ones that I mentioned. It's gonna be the Jokic. It's gonna be Giannis. It's gonna be
it's gonna be the International 4 and International 5.
You gotta put the reigning MVP in there. You got Embiid. Like, it's gonna be those. But me being that player development coach I am, I'm always thinking of like, who's that next one? Like now, I like him. Would you tell me the other award ones too? You want me to do those, or would you want me to do?
No, we can just do MVP right now. Like we can dive deeper into this if we want to, but just like because of time, we can do it later. But just any final thoughts you have?
No, for me, it's Ant-Man, and then my sleeper pick is JT Tatum.
Okay.
Those are my personal two.
Okay.
Yeah, that depends a lot on just Boston's what we were just talking about as far as their coaching and their decision making in games and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and I'm done with this after I say this. And I told you this, Dave. My favorite team in the NBA right now. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Diehard.
Okay.
I love the Oklahoma City Thunder right now.
The vibes is coming back, ain't it? You see the vibes coming back. I see it too.
Hey,
because
I watch them on film or I watch them on TV, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this feels like 2010,
all over again.
Yeah.
And if you think about what they did, they went KD, they went Jeff Green,
then
they went
Russ,
they went Ibaka,
and
then they start filling it in after that. Then they started getting vets like the Nick Collins. Then they drafted more young people, and people were like, "Why y'all drafting more?" They got Reggie Jackson, they got Eric Maynard. People forget about Eric Maynard.
Hey, Cephalosha was a good defender for them, yo.
Cephalosha, they got him too. You know what I mean? But the reason why I say like OKC is because once they got Shea, my mind started churning. I'm like, okay, you got Shea, but you getting draft picks. What you about to do with these draft picks?
Sam Presti, bro.
but then it got crazier because they start getting more first round draft. I forgot what the statistic was. I think they got something like 14 first round draft picks in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
Presti, bro.
So they got Shea and then they got Chet, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then they started filling their roster in with other people. I'm like, oh yeah, they already got Josh Giddey. I'm like, whoa, they got Josh Giddey. And then I was like, all right, then they got what's his name? God, what's that boy's name?
You talking about Williams? Lou Dort. Yeah, Lou Dort.
They got Lou Dort. And I'm like, all right, they got pieces. And then they got the two Williams. They got
both the Jalen Williams. Yeah.
Bro, and then Jalen Williams last year when he was a rookie was in the top 5 for rookie ratings, like in every statistical category. So I'm like, they got pieces. And then this past draft, they got Cason Wallace. I'm like,
I like Cason.
Cason is nice, super. They got Trey Mann. I love Trey Mann. I just don't think that team is gonna put
him an opportunity.
Yeah, he needs to go somewhere. He needs to go somewhere else. I think he would be great at another team, like a I don't know, like a Cavaliers, where he can learn under somebody and still play. He can play behind Donovan Mitchell and then get in there and run his up. You know what I mean? But I love OKC. I'm telling you, the next 3 or 4 years, they're gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I see it too.
They're gonna be a problem.
For sure, man. Yeah, man, my boy Quinten, man, it's been great to have you on here, bro. Like, we definitely got to do this again. Like, as the season goes on, we can dive into more of who we think is going to win Rookie of the Year and who's going to get into the playoffs and who like as we get closer to the All-Star game and further along in the season, for sure, man. We'll definitely love to have you back on, man. But before we go, and for those watching, you see it on the bottom of the screen. Make sure you check out Coach Quinten Foster and Quintessential Sports Training. The website's below, but man, we
show love on this part.
Man. The sounds of the plugs, boy. Hey, man. Hey, we coming up, bro. Hey, like we new to this. We new to this. But we starting to get true to this though. But do. Yeah, man. But I want to just give you a chance to give any final thoughts. Give a plug out for your sports training business here, because we do have some fans of the show that are wondering if you're hiring, if you got any spots open, if you looking for anyone to kind of help you along the way. So just wanted to give you your moment to shine here.
No, bro, I appreciate y'all having me on. But I think the biggest takeaway from this is have your fan base know that I'm always willing to be a service to the community, bro. Like whatever I can do to be of service, I'm going to do it. I'm all for player development, whether it's me being physically with a kid or being on a Zoom call with a kid. If I can be a presence in the kid's life or any player's life, that's just my role, bro. I'm just trying to make a difference. That's all I'm trying to do. Whether like I said, it's in person, virtually, just trying to do my part. Whatever I can do to help, just let me know.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up, man.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Coach. Hey, I can't call you Quinten no more. I gotta call you Coach. Coach. Gotta call you Coach, man.
Nah,
gotta
bro,
give you that respect.
My parents be calling me Coach Q now. I'm like, y'all gotta chill, man. my mama called me Coach Q. I was like, Mama, come on now. Chill out.
Well, Coach. Well, bro, man, it's been great to have you on here.
Yeah,
appreciate you. You're welcome anytime. We love to have you as a guest. Yeah. Like maybe later on, in the NBA season.
Yeah, definitely gotta have my man back here
when you're available. I don't know, like we getting you. I know you booking up right now, but I don't know. You might have an assistant by the next time we talk to you. Man, I appreciate you, man.
Sure, bro.
It's been great. Samson 4, we appreciate y'all for listening. Again, like, share, subscribe. Hey, we the only few that have experts like this on the field, really in the trenches, really out there, literally out there on the court doing the work. Ball doesn't stop for this man right here. Ball doesn't stop for us. You already know the vibes. That's Dré from PG. I'm Esquire Dave. Shout out to my guy Quinten Foster again. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you having us. Shout out to the balloons in the back.
Yeah, that's crazy. What the
I was like, where them just coming from?
It's gotta be it's an iPhone thing, bro. I don't know what
it's a Samson 4 magic. We got that going on right now. But appreciate y'all for listening. Appreciate y'all for watching. Samson 4, we are out of here.